start to feel and get a sense of the greater trochanter of your femur bone, so that you can just start to get, again, more of a sense of what's happening at the skeletal level. So remember, let's just do a couple of different movements. We're not going to do a big circle, but just start to get a sense, imprinting into your embodied awareness of this beautiful ball and socket joint. So as I'm moving in and around with my leg, I'm bringing my attention into this joint, and I'm starting to feel the gliding action through the joint. It's lovely. Now I'm going to increase that glide. I'm going to increase the circle by now bringing my knee up to the chest, and then I'm going to externally rotate my knee out to the side. And then once it's as far as it can go without letting my pelvis move, I'm going to internally rotate the knee down and bring the leg back behind me and up, out, down, and around. Yes, there will be a little bit of movement in your pelvis, but you want to keep that movement as little as possible. So keep your brain, keep your interoception in your hip joint, gliding around, gliding around. Couple more times. And you can even, to help drive the movement into the hip joint, you're welcome to let things be, the rest of your body be somewhat tense and engaged, so that the movement and your focus can go right into the hip joint. So let's release and switch. You'll probably notice that your standing leg got some extra side benefit strengthening while we were doing that. But notice now, how does one side of the pelvis, how does one hip joint, the one you were just moving, feel compared to the other? And then let's shift over to the other side. Get a sense of your greater trochanter. Just start to do some smaller movements. And notice by moving your knee, you're actually moving through the joint. Right. Now, bring your knee up and then out to the side. Internally rotate, bring the leg back. Up, out to the side, and back. Now I'm going to show this from the side. You're going to continue to circle, and you're going to see that when I don't let my pelvis, when I keep my pelvis very as stable as I can in this position, I'm not going all that far. I'm not really able to get big extension of my leg back unless I tilt it forward. So I keep the stability in my torso and my pelvis. And it doesn't matter. So if these end up being really small circles at first, that's great. But remember, when we do our mobility work, it's all about pushing the edges of the boundaries in a safe manner. This slow and controlled movement is inviting your nervous system to be comfortable at these end ranges, so that I'm going up to my boundaries, and then by doing the movement, I'm slowly expanding the boundaries of my movement and my mobility. Good. Release out of that. Feel both of your hip joints now. Nice. Now we're going to go onto the hands and the knees and do the other variation that will be helpful for your students if the standing variation is too hard. So you're on your hands and knees like so. And then same principle. Don't let your pelvis do the movement for you. Lift your knee up toward the ceiling. Externally rotate. Bring your knee forward, 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 down, and then up. Externally rotate. And keep visualizing the movement in your hip joint. The more refined and fine-tuned we can be in that visualization, that experience of moving from your joint makes a huge difference in our ability to move efficiently, effectively. So good. And you can see my pelvis is moving a bit, but I'm really working hard to keep it fairly steady. And then release. I'll turn around to the other side. We're going to do the other leg. Something else that you want to watch for is that while we do this movement, you might end up drifting over to one side. So I'm lifting up my left leg right now, so I might end up drifting a little bit over to my right. You want to reduce the drift as much as possible so that you're fairly balanced and steady between both of your hands and throughout your core. This is a lot of work. As you're doing this along with me, you're going to notice how much of a muscular effort this takes, because now you're asking all the little muscles and large muscles in and around the hip joint to move. By inviting the movement more deeply into your joint, you're waking up more parts of you. So it's so good. Okay, we'll do one more circle. Slow and controlled. And then notice how that feels. So good. So good. I love it.